Hello lovelies, and welcome back to another video. And if this is your first time here, welcome. You came on a great day. Today we're going to be looking at a product from one of my favorite brands, and it is Andrea Marie Cosmetics. It is her newest release, the Anointed palette. This is an absolutely gorgeous palette, and I'm so excited to dive into the packaging, the color story, the product, and the performance of all of the eyeshadows in here. I have been following Andrea Marie. She is a YouTuber, and she does makeup content here on YouTube, and she is just such a sweet soul. It is so much fun to watch her videos and just to see the looks that she creates. I'll put a link to her page in the description box. If you have not checked her out before, I definitely would recommend it. And I found Andrea Marie pretty soon after I started my channel on YouTube, and she has just been such an encouragement to me. She's been such a good friend. We've actually done a collab together over on Instagram, and so she is just such a sweet person, and I am so excited that I was one of her first customers, and I have just been supporting her brand from the very beginning. And it is one of those brands that is just absolutely gorgeous. Every product that she releases has absolutely blown me away, and I have really enjoyed getting to use her products and continue to create content with them and get to use them in just my everyday looks. And so I'm really excited about this new release. This is by far her most colorful release, and I'm so excited. If you know me at all, you know that I love colorful makeup. You can see the look that I created with the palette today, and I cannot wait to show you this look. The packaging on this palette is absolutely gorgeous with this beautiful holographic look, and we'll take a closer look at that throughout the video. The outer carton comes off and the palette itself looks the same. And then let's just take a peek at this beautiful color story. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is so bright, so vibrant, and just perfect for spring and summer. So I cannot wait to go ahead and jump into this video with you. This is just such a gorgeous palette. I almost feel like she made it for me. It is just so perfectly suited to my interests and what I like, the kind of colors that I enjoy. Like I said, I've enjoyed all of her products, all her other eyeshadow palettes. I talk about that a little bit throughout the video, but this one really just hit a home run. It is just so gorgeous, and I absolutely love this palette. So I cannot wait to go ahead and show you how we created this look. We'll take some swatches, and I'll share some of my initial thoughts about the palette with you. So come along with me, and let's make up the rules. This is the fourth palette that I have picked up from Andrea Marie Cosmetics. She only has 4 palettes at this point, and I have the Blessed to Be Natural palette, which is a beautiful neutral palette, the Heavenly Glitz, which is an all pressed glitter palette. It is very pretty. It is so shimmery, so shiny, and perfect for just summertime and just for going outside and really catching those shimmers in the light. And then her most recent release before this one was a Christmas or winter release, and it was the Icy Praise palette. It is white and blue and silver. It is absolutely gorgeous and perfect for just those cold winter type months of the year, or any blue look that you want to create. And so I'm really excited about the Anointed palette. I think this packaging is absolutely gorgeous. I love just this rainbow holographic on the front. I think it is so pretty. It just catches so beautifully in the light. And then this color story is so beautiful. It's so just bright and summery or springy, and it is absolutely unique to my collection. I don't have any other palettes that look like this one. I am absolutely blown away by this color story, and like I said, this is my 4th palette picking up from Andrea Marie Cosmetics, and I'm so excited about this one because, as many of you know, I love colorful, bright looks, and this is her first palette that really has a lot of range in the color story. It has a lot of bright shades in here, and so I'm so excited to get to use this palette. This is so much my kind of color story. I really love pinks and purples. This yellow is absolutely stunning. I love this little pop of green in here. I think that would look so pretty with a mostly pink look and then just a green shimmer. So there's so much versatility in this palette, so many things that we can do with it. And I'm really excited to go ahead and take some swatches, see how these look on the skin. I know from her previous palettes, her quality is amazing, and the pigmentation of her shadows is always so just rich and deep and vibrant. And so I'm really excited to see these bright colors with her pigmentation and go ahead and see how this looks. So let's go ahead and hop into the swatches. The swatches of this Anointed palette are absolutely gorgeous. They are so bright and so rich and vibrant. Every single shade in here is just so pretty and plays such an important role in the color story. I don't feel like there's any shades in here that are out of place or that don't belong. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I love that in this one palette there are pinks, yellows, and purples, and really there are mattes and shimmers for each one of those, that you could create a completely monochromatic look using mattes and shimmers, deepening things up, having some lightness to it. And also you can mix and match, and you can use pinks and yellows and purples and yellows and purples and pinks, and there's all kinds of different combinations that you can create. And so I love the versatility of this palette. I think it's really nice that you can definitely create just so many different looks. This beautiful shade here, Radiant, I know I mentioned before I took the swatches that it looked green and it would look really pretty with the pinks. When I did take the swatches and applied it on the skin, it really is just such a unique shade because it does really go very well with these two matte yellows that are in the palette, and it just is a very kind of gold green kind of leaning shimmer, and it is really pretty. It is an absolutely gorgeous, very unique shade. So I love that she included that one in here, and I love that it goes really well with the yellows. It goes well with the other shades in the palette, and I just think this is such a beautiful and cohesive color story. And the pinks in here are absolutely gorgeous. I will say the one thing about the pinks is they left just a little bit of staining on my fingers, not very much, but just a little bit after I used a makeup remover wipe and tried to get it off. There's just a little bit, but of course once I wash my hands a couple times, I'm sure that'll just dissolve on its own. But did want to go ahead and mention that. But overall, I just think this is a gorgeous palette. These purples are really rich, very vibrant, very beautiful, and I really love this one on the bottom right corner called Rain. It is a really pretty, almost kind of wine type color. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it goes so beautifully with the other purples and with the pinks in this palette. And I think that Rain shade, because it's kind of got that more wine shade, it's a little bit more pink or red leaning, I think it would be a great transition shade as you're using purples and pinks in a look. So I am overall so happy with the swatches of this palette. I think it is absolutely stunning. It is such a beautiful and bright color story. Like I said, perfect for summer and for these types of months of the year. And I am just so excited to dive into this color story and create a look. So let's go ahead and get started. To get started, I did go ahead and prime my eyes with my Ulta Beauty Pigment Pop Eye Primer. It is a beautiful white primer and really helps to make colors pop on the eyes. So going ahead and looking at our palette, I really want to play with all three of the different kinds of colors in this palette. So I'm going to start out with some yellow, and then I'm going to transition into pink and then into purple, and just go ahead and really just create a very beautiful, rich, vibrant look, and really just include all of the shades in here. So I'm going to start with this beautiful bright yellow. This one is called Flourish. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is such a perfect, just sunshine yellow kind of shade. So I'm going in with a Ace Beauté Paletteopoly brush. This one is P2, and I'm going to just go ahead and pick some of that Flourish shade up on my brush and tap off just a little bit of the excess onto the pan. And then I'm going to just start to apply this right here on the inner corner. I love a really bright pop of color on the inner corner, so I do want to go ahead and include this yellow here. And so I'm going to just continue to pick up a little bit of product at a time. Like I said, this is a very pigmented palette, so I don't want to grab too much product at one time and have a lot of fallout or really overwhelm the look. So I'm just picking up a little bit at a time and just using this nice big fluffy brush to just kind of blend this out right here on the inner corner. pulling up just a little bit into the crease. So I'm going right here, and I'm even pulling this down a little bit into the lower lash line as well, just to really create a nice big bold inner corner. So just continuing to apply this yellow shade here, pulling up into the crease a little bit, and just starting to really get that nice beautiful yellow pigmentation. And you can see it is absolutely gorgeous, and it is really just making such a bright inner corner. And I think it's going to look really nice because this is the only yellow I'm going to use on this look, I think. And I'm just going to move into the pinks and purples after this. And so I think it's really going to help that yellow to shine a lot on this look. And like I said, I really enjoy Andrea Marie Cosmetics pigmentation and formula. I think they are great. They are so rich and vibrant. It doesn't take a lot of product to really pack a punch on your look. I know I've mentioned her other palettes earlier in the video, and just my previous experience with her. I think her products are great, and I will definitely put the link for all the videos for all of the palettes that I've used before in the description box below. So if you have not seen those, definitely go check them out. She has some beautiful palettes with some really great color stories, and I've really enjoyed every one that I've used. So definitely check those out, and I'm really excited for this palette in particular, just because of the colorful nature of the color story. That is absolutely gorgeous. I love that pop of yellow there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, and I'll be right back. That pop of yellow is so fun, and so now I do want to go ahead and start transitioning into our pinks. These are some of the prettiest, just most bubblegum Barbie kind of pinks, and they are absolutely gorgeous. So I went ahead and cleaned off that P2 brush, and I'm going to go ahead and go into this shade right here. It's called Bloom. It is so pretty. It is just absolutely just the most perfect pink. And so I'm really excited to start transitioning into this shade. So again, I'm just going to pick up a little bit of this on my brush and just go ahead and go across the crease and start to blend into that yellow and start to move our shades across towards the outer corner. And that is so pretty. You can see with just one swipe how pigmented that is. And I'm going to pick up just a little bit more product and continue to build up, but that is just so pigmented and absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, right here where I'm meeting the yellow, just using soft back and forth motions just to blend that in, and just so that way I don't have any harsh lines, it just transitions nicely. That is absolutely gorgeous. I love the yellow and the pink next to each other. I think that is such a pretty combination. It's so summery and springy as we're kind of in that transition between spring and summer. I think this is the perfect palette. It was a great time to release it, and I think that just looks so nice with that other shade there. So I'm loving the pink and the yellow together. I am going to use a little bit of this other pink over here. This one is called Beloved. It is really pretty. You can see Bloom and Beloved are pretty similar. They swatch pretty similarly as well. I think Beloved is just a little bit richer and a little bit brighter. And so I'm going to just use a little bit of this and just blend into Bloom. Not very much because I do want to have some room for some purple on the outer corner. But I am going to just apply a little bit of this here. And that is so rich and so pretty. I absolutely love how that looks. And so now I'm going to start to transition into the purples. And like I said, I think this Rain shade is going to be really pretty as a transition between pink and purple, just because it's kind of got a little bit of both in it. So I'm going to go ahead and dip into Rain, and then we're going to start to transition more into these purples over here. So grabbing just a little bit of that on my brush, I'm going to go ahead and just start to apply this right on the edge of the pinks as I'm moving towards the outer corner, and just start to blend. And that is really pretty. You can definitely see the pink starting to pop out, especially as it's blending with those other pink shades. It definitely does not scream purple, and so I think it is a really good transition shade between these two different colors, and I think that was really smart of her to put that in here. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab this light purple shade. This one is called Air, and I'm going to put this one right here on the outer corner as I'm starting to build up some purple and starting to really deepen up the outer corner. I'm going to go light and then I'm going to deepen up with the darkest purple shade. And I think this is so pretty. I love all of these bright, vibrant colors together, and I'm really loving how they are blending. So I'm just going to use circular motions and just apply this right here in the outer corner. And definitely that rain shade that we used as a transition is much darker than this air shade. So it is definitely not as dark as I want it to be on the outer corner. So that is where we're gonna go into this shade here. And this one is called Chosen. It is a beautiful deep purple. And I think having that air as a base is gonna really help to deepen this up and really make the purple pop on the outer corner. I'm going into this shade and just, like I said, using circular motion right here on the inner corner. I'm just keeping it all centralized right where I want it and just blending it in like that and pulling it into that rain shade so that there's a nice, beautiful transition. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm loving how it's looking. I'm going to kind of clean it up a little bit, go over some shades, make sure that I didn't lose that rain shade or any of the pink as I was making that transition. So like I said, I'm just going to go in and clean this side up. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'll be back in just a moment. I absolutely love how all of these mattes are blending together. I think it is so pretty. It is just such a bright and vibrant look. So I think I'm going to just mirror on the lower lash line everything that I just did in the crease. And so I'm going to go in with another Ace Beauté Paletteopoly brush. This one is P4. This one's just a little bit smaller and finer for more detailed looks. And so I'm just going to go in and start to pull from those same shades and start to go ahead and move across the lower lash line. So as we were putting the yellow on the inner corner, I've already kind of got that yellow there. So I'm going to start with the pinks and go ahead and pull over. So I'm starting with this light pink shade up here. This one was Bloom. And just going to pick a little bit of this up on my brush and start to pull this across the lower lash line right where it meets that yellow shade. So I'm just going to line underneath my waterline and just blend into that yellow. And then picking up Beloved, that other pink shade, and just blending into that. And like I said, I'm using all the same shades that I used on the top and doing the same thing on the bottom. So now I'm going to jump into Rain and do that transition between the pink and the purple. And I really am happy with how that Rain shade is transitioning. I think it looks great. It is the perfect shade to be able to do that. And then going back into that light purple shade, that Air, that very kind of lilac kind of shade, blending that out as I'm reaching the outer corner, getting that nice light purple base, and then we're going to deepen that up. And going in finally with Chosen and just applying a little bit of that in the outer corner and just blending that up into the shade that we already applied. And that is so pretty. It matches perfectly with the top. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I love how all of these mattes blended. I think it is such a stunning look, and I think adding some shimmer is really going to tie everything together and complete the look. So I did go ahead off camera and apply some of my NYX glitter primer all over my lid, and then I'm going to go in and really just kind of do a blend of some shimmers on this look. And so I think I'm going to start out with this beautiful purple shimmer. This one is called Royalty, and I'm going to put that towards the outer part of my lid where we have all of the purple in the outer corner. So I'm just going to kind of match my shimmers to what the mattes are doing on the lid. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of this on my finger and just start to pat this onto my NYX glitter primer and really start to just kind of blend this into that outer corner. And these shimmers are really pretty. They are very light, especially this purple shade. It is very light. It's kind of got just sort of that lavender kind of look to it, but it is absolutely gorgeous. It is really shimmery and pretty. So I really like how that looks sort of with the matte. And then I do want to start to transition into some pink shimmers. So I think I'm just going to use this one on the top row. This one is called Outpour. It is such a pretty shade. I love the names of her shade. They are all biblically based and Christian faith related, and I absolutely love that about her brand and about the palettes and how she just is so thoughtful with the way that she designs and names everything. So I'm going in with that Outpour shade, and I'm just going to apply this right beside that Royalty shade and going ahead and just kind of blending these together. And I love a pink shimmer like this that is just so kind of light and iridescent. It is absolutely gorgeous and it looks so pretty with this look. All of the mattes are a little bit on the darker or heavier side, so going in with some really nice pretty light shimmers is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm picking up a little bit more of that Royalty shade so I don't lose it on my look, and just starting to kind of blend where the two of those meet and just kind of going back and forth between the two shades and making sure that they both stand out and have a place in the look. And then as we're moving towards the inner corner, towards that yellow, I do want to try a little bit of that Radiant shade and just see how that looks on this look with the yellow. So I'm going to just go ahead and pick a little bit of that up on my finger as well, and just having that right here towards the inner corner. Not a lot, but I just want it to kind of blend right where I have that yellow on the inner corner. I think this is just such a fun shade. It adds just a little bit of extra lightness towards the inner corner, so I think that's really pretty. And I'm going to grab just a little bit more of that Outpour shade and just make sure that it's nice and blended into that yellow shimmer. So I think that is absolutely gorgeous. I'm really happy with this look. I'm going to pop some shimmer on the other side, and then we're going to start wrapping up this look. And here is the look with all of the shimmer completed. It is so pretty. I absolutely love this color story. I love all of these colors blended together. I think it just looks so just sweet and soft and feminine. It is so pretty. So I'm going to step off camera. I'm going to apply some of my finishing details, some lip color, some eye product, and then I'll be back in just a moment and we'll take a closer look at the final look. I am absolutely loving this look. I think it is so pretty, and I just absolutely love how everything came together and blended together so nicely. For my finishing details, I did decide to add just a soft little cat eye or wing off to the side. For that, I used my Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Waterproof liquid liner. This is in the shade Ultra Black. And then I did Tightline also on the top with an automatic eyeliner from Ulta Beauty. This is in matte black. And then for my lower waterline, I decided to go in with a couple of different shades because I do have that transition from pink into purple. And so for the pink, I went in with an Ulta Beauty automatic eyeliner. This is in the shade Matte Powder Pink. And then for the outer half of my waterline, I went in with an Ulta Beauty Collection Color Punch automatic eyeliner, and this is in the shade Lovely Lilac. For my mascara, I almost started filming and then I realized that I didn't put mascara on already, and so I went ahead and added that. I used my Tarte Maneater waterproof mascara, and then for my lip combination, I really wanted to pull on the pink and the purple as well, so I went in with a Milani pink lipstick. This is in the shade Petal, and I picked up a few different Milani lipsticks at Walmart recently that were in the clearance section. I had never tried them before, but those are some of my favorite lipsticks. They are so nice. They have just kind of a nice matte or powder kind of finish to them, but they feel really nice. I really enjoy wearing them and I love the shades. So I'm really excited to have a new brand that I've tried out, and I'm looking forward to trying more of their product. But then also for this look, I decided to go over top of that pink lipstick with some purple lip gloss. This is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Marshmallow. So those are all the details that I used for this look to really pull everything together and really tie into the color story that we played with in the Anointed palette today. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in for a closer look at our final look, and then I'll share some of my thoughts about the palette with you. I was so excited when I originally saw the Anointed palette be released, and just the color story that she shared online and being able to see the palette that was coming. I was so excited, and of course I ordered it the day that it released on May 1st. It's taken me a little while to get to it, and also I felt like this was a little bit more of a summer leaning palette, so I wanted to wait until we got into June to go ahead and create this video. But I absolutely love this palette. I've been so excited and looking forward to using it, and it has not disappointed in any way. I love the packaging on this. It is so gorgeous. Just that holographic look is just so heavenly. It is just so just iridescent and really just creates such an elevated look to this palette. I feel like it is just so classy. It is very simple, but it really speaks volume in just the packaging design. So I think she did a great job with that. I love that there's a mirror in here. It is really nice and really easy to use. And then this color story is absolutely gorgeous. This is one of my new favorite palettes. It is absolutely just my kind of color story. I feel like she made this for me, and I'm just so happy and so excited about this color story. The pinks in here, like I said, are some of the most beautiful bubblegum Barbie, just rich, pure pinks, and I think that is so pretty. I really don't have that kind of perfect pink in my collection, that not that I can think of. These are just so pretty and they blend together beautifully. They are absolutely gorgeous. These purples are so deep and so rich. I know I mentioned several times, I think it was so clever of her to include this rain shade. I think that was just such a perfect addition to this palette to create a transition with all of the different shades that she has in here, and using it today, it worked perfectly. I applied it onto my crease as I was blending from the pink into the purple, and it did exactly what I was hoping it would do. It really created such a perfect transition. As you apply it onto the eyes, it really almost applies kind of pink and purple, just depending on which other shades are next to it. So I think it is just such a versatile shade, and I think it was perfect and such a great addition to this palette. I absolutely love the shimmers in here. This outpour shade, that pink shade that we use, is so pretty. It is so light and iridescent. It almost has a little bit of a whiteness in it, and it just makes it so light and just so airy on the lid. Again, this radiant shade is so pretty. I think it is such a cool addition to this palette that really pulls into the yellows, but even adds a little bit of extra kind of pizzazz by having maybe some gold and some green kind of reflex in it. So it is a really cool shade. Probably my least favorite shade that I used today was Royalty. It is a really pretty purple shimmer, but it is very light. I do wish with such deep and rich and vibrant purple mattes that there was a little bit of a deeper purple shimmer. But other than that, I think all of the shades in here are gorgeous. I didn't use it today, but this pink shade up here, Ordained, when I swatched it, you can see it is a matte shade with a little bit of glitter in it. It is a really pretty shade. It's got a little bit of kind of gold yellow shimmer, so it ties in really nicely with the yellow shades. So I think there is just so much cohesion in this palette. I think everything just really ties into each other. Like I said, having that yellow shimmer in the pink really ties in with these yellow shades here. Having this range shade really helps you tie into the pink. So I think she really thought this palette out very well, thought out the color story. It all is very cohesive. It goes together really nicely, and then each individual shade really helps to tie into the other colors. So I think it is just such a smart palette. It is really well designed. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. This is such a bright and beautiful palette, and also I feel like this is a really good beginner palette. If you have not had a lot of experience with blending, if that's something that you're not very comfortable with, this is a great palette. Everything in here is very pigmented, and I felt like everything just blended so easily and so smoothly. I could pick up product just one or two times, apply it onto the eye, blend it into the next shade, and it all just blended seamlessly and just went in together really well. It was very easy to just get some pigment on the eye, and that is definitely the kind of formula that I prefer. So I was overall just blown away by this release, by this palette. I'm so excited to have this in my collection. I'm so excited to continue to use the Anointed palette and just to continue to combine this with my other Andrea Marie cosmetics and just to see what other looks that I can create. So I'm so excited and I cannot wait to see what else she has in store in the future. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. I've had a blast hanging out with you and just taking a look at the Andrea Marie Cosmetics Anointed palette. I absolutely love this palette and I would love to hear from you in the comments below what your thoughts are about this look that we created today. And also, have you picked up any products from Andrea Marie Cosmetics? I know I mentioned I've done several reviews of her eyeshadows, I've done some of her lip products, and I'll put the link for all of those videos in the description box below. But I would love to hear from you if you have taken an interest in her brand or if this is one of the products that you may have picked up. I would just love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and if you would like to see more makeup content and tutorials, then please consider subscribing to my channel. Until next time, let's be kind to each other, beautiful to ourselves, and never afraid to make up the rules.